Hi there, this is John Earls and Mark Miller, so just 5 minutes with John and Mark. We've been talking about a couple of topical situations in relation to remote working and hybrid working, and we're sort of following on with that theme, I think, with today's topic, Mark. So we're looking at the famous or infamous imposter syndrome. So I've got some blurb around that, some words. Imposter syndrome refers to an internal experience of believing that you are not as competent as people believe you to be. Now, that's an interesting sort of sentence to put together, because why it came up was that a lot of people are worried about going back to work in this new hybrid working scenario. And I think that a lot of people maybe are feeling not as confident as they were. You know, running meetings face to face is different to running meetings on Teams. And I think that this word imposter syndrome and this maybe lack of confidence in our abilities is going to be coming up more and more. And so we're here today to give you some tips around that topic and share some thoughts. Anything to lead us then with, Mark?
Yeah, I think it's something that's gone on a long time. I was reading, gosh, seven or 8 years ago, that over half of executives really don't think they should be doing their own job. that they have a sense that they're not good enough. The first tip that I've got is recognize what the lack of confidence that imposter syndrome is, and the fear of being found out is very, very human. And if you get a sense of I'm not really up to the job, I might get found out, then firstly congratulate yourself, because you're part of the human race, and it is much more common than you think. And the way, my suggested way to begin to deal with this is to don't allow your mind to go along the feeling route, which is I might get found out, but convert it into logical thinking about what are my measurables. What am I producing at work that I can measure and I can tick off, yes, I did it, no, I did not do it, or the team did it, or the team did not do it. And running your life by measurables and objectives and achievements that are set in a diary, rather than do I feel successful or not successful, is really, really important. So make measurables for yourself very clear. It will objectify those feelings.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I think that sort of lends itself to this next point. So I've worked in various capacities with psychology and getting people to believe in themselves and address their thoughts and feelings. And one of the best ways to objectify these things, you know, to rationalize them and put them into a logical plan, is to acknowledge that we actually have them in the first place. So acknowledge that those feelings are there. You know, if we resist them and push them away, they're going to give them, you know, a lot more strength. So acknowledging that those thoughts are there is important, but also acknowledging that we aren't our thoughts. You know, we're not this unconfident person that we might think we are. A thought is just a thought, but the first step and the tip for me is to acknowledge it and acknowledge that it is a thought.
And yeah, and on to our last tip, because that leads it really nicely into this thought too, John. And what you're saying, I think, is it'll vaporize if you face it. And that's exactly my point I was going to bring in too. And it vaporizes if you kind of face it and scare yourself a bit with it. And if you say, okay, I feel a bit of an imposter syndrome, so okay, I'm going to call the bluff. I'm going to ask people how I am, and then suddenly, oh my goodness, I got to go and ask people how I'm doing. And it kind of a bit of a shock to the system, but very, very therapeutic. Because if you set your mind to ask people, how am I doing? Now, how could I improve as a leader? How could I improve the way I run meetings? How could I improve the way that I give you information? How could I improve the way that I communicate with you? As we ask that question, how can I help you, kind of questions, this worry about being an imposter vaporizes, because we are trying to deal with the situation. And we get data and information back from others about how to improve. So yeah, if you're worried that I think people that really are imposters and really aren't very good at their job, they never ask others, how am I doing? I don't know if you've probably noticed that. They never say, how am I doing? Because they know they're going to get the truth. So if you ask people, how am I doing? Then the syndrome, if you like, the imposter syndrome, tends to begin to vaporize. We get data back and we get reassurance back. So that's about it on the imposter syndrome. Huh?
I think it is, and you and I are deeply confident people in all situations, aren't we, Mark?
As if.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, I look forward to meeting everybody next time.
Bye.